Hey everybody, this is the weekly forecast commencing on Monday, October the 28th, 2024. This is going to be a very active, event-oriented week because almost every single day there's going to be an important planetary event. The biggest one is on Friday, November the 1st, which will be a new moon. We have a new moon once a month. Where the new moon falls in your horoscope is where your priorities and attention is most directed for the coming 4 weeks. But it's also this week before the new moon on Friday, so this Monday through Thursday, is the last week from the previous new moon. And that last week, or the week before the next new moon, is a time of wrapping up, bringing closure, endings, or it's a holding pattern. Overall, in general, you don't want to initiate important new projects the week before the new moon because the energy of the moon is winding down. After the new moon, it's gearing up, and that's when you, in general, when you want to launch important new projects. But before I start discussing what's happening each day this week, if you enjoy these kinds of videos and would like to see more of them, click like and subscribe. And don't forget to click on the notification bell so you can receive the latest postings. And if you go into the description box underneath the video, you'll find a direct link to book an astrology reading, or you can check out my 2-question offer. All right, on Monday, October the 28th, the moon is in Virgo. The moon represents the overall public tone, public reactions. Virgo is very work-oriented, very sensible, very practical. It's a pretty good sign to start the new work week. Now, Venus is the planet of relationships, can also be a planet about finances, but it's squaring or restricted by Saturn. So we start Monday when you could be worried about your cash flow, or you could be worried about your relationship, or the relationship could be very much tested. But at the same time, assertive Mars will be in harmony with Neptune. Now, Mars-Neptune could be very favorable for a lot of healing work, spiritual work. Could be excellent for yoga, for swimming, for dancing. That's what Mars trining Neptune, but certainly a lot of selfless work, selfless service. But also Venus is in hard angle to Saturn. So even though there's a lot of good things with Mars-Neptune, you could be concerned about your finances, concerned about your relationships. On Tuesday, the 29th, the moon is now entered into Libra. Libra is more sociable, harmonious, looking for a win-win situation. But this is the only day where there's no important planetary events other than the moon shifted into Libra. And so there's this whole kind of public tone to find peace and harmony. Wednesday, the 30th, the moon continues in fair-minded, diplomatic, mediating Libra. But discerning Mercury, decision-making Mercury, will be in Scorpio, as it's been for the last several weeks. The mind, our thinking, our planning with Scorpio could be very much intensified, but also having sometimes a lot of secrets. But that Mercury in Scorpio will be an exact opposition or confrontation to unpredictable, rebellious Uranus. Now, this can play out in a couple of ways, because Mercury can represent news and information. So there could be some unexpected, upsetting news or really exciting news. Either way, it can cause you to have to make some really sudden decisions. Now, Mercury also represents the nervous system, and Uranus is often associated with electricity. So you might be feeling like electricity is shooting through your body from a lot of excitement or a lot of stress. So you need to breathe, you need to take a walk to really calm down your nervous system. On Halloween in the United States, October the 31st, the moon continues in harmonious diplomatic Libra, but by mid-morning Pacific time, the moon is actually going to be in tension with irritable, impulsive Mars and also kind of dark controlling Pluto. So the morning, in the mid to late morning, Pacific time, could be a more emotional anxiousness or even argumentative energies going on. But the moon will leave Libra and leave that tense energies and go into Scorpio at 10:29 a.m. Pacific time. Scorpio, ruling the occult and the great mysteries of life, could be ideal for Halloween and trick-or-treating. And Mercury, discerning, decision-making Mercury, that on Wednesday you might have been feeling really nervous and anxious. Now the Mercury on the 31st will be trining or in harmony with Neptune. Mercury-Neptune can be very idealistic, very creative, very imaginative, great for those who are dressing up or for costumes or for decorating, for Halloween. But outside of Halloween, Mercury, the mind, in harmony with Neptune, you could be more intuitive, more psychic, more empathetic. And also there could be this sense of hope and idealism. Then we go into November the 1st on Friday, and now the new moon is exact. But that new moon in Scorpio that can bring really compulsive energies, very intense energies, is going to be in harmony with pragmatic, grounding, realistic Saturn. So the new moon in Scorpio can trigger a lot of soul-searching, decision-making, really looking at what's important to let go and focus on what's real. But the new moon is in harmony with grounding, sensible, realistic Saturn. So this new moon, setting the stage for the next 4 weeks, in harmony with pragmatic business Saturn. It's very good for economics. It's very good for business. And with all the big changes, because Scorpio is endings and new beginnings, a lot of big internal changes going on, it's being supported by practical grounding Saturn. So it's also really good for feeling more secure, more grounded, more realistic, good for business. And that's what's setting the stage for November. Saturday, November the 2nd, it's going to be an active day with decisions. Mercury, the first half of the day where it's the strongest, Pacific time, Mercury will be trining or in harmony with strategic, quick, confident Mars. Mercury, Mars, the mind may be very decisive, very quick. You could be really stimulated mentally, great for debating, for any kinds of negotiations. For the rest of the day, the Mercury, as it's pulling away favorably from the confident, courageous Mars, now the Mercury is going to be sextile or in harmony with Pluto. Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio, the new moon in Scorpio. Pluto is the lord of the underworld. Pluto can deal with anything that's hidden and secretive. So having the mind, Mercury, in harmony with Pluto, and be very favorable for researching, for studying, for being interested in the occult, interested in astrology. And Mercury, that's been in Scorpio for the last several weeks, once a year, that could be what's on our mind. We're going more brooding, or wanting more secretive, more privacy, but very favorable for going deep within from the occult, from astrology, psychology, just doing lots of introspection. But the Mercury is leaving this intense, more introspective Scorpio, and around noon Pacific time, it's moving into fiery, optimistic, outgoing Sagittarius. And because Mercury is going to retrograde at the end of the month, now the Mercury will then be going backwards. It's an optical illusion, remaining in Sagittarius by December the 15th, stopping and going forwards, remaining in Sagittarius. So instead of Mercury being in Sag for 3 to 4 weeks, it's going to be there for 2 months. And with Mercury in Sag, there's more of this optimism, the sense of adventure, wanting to travel. Sagittarius also represents higher education. So you could be looking more towards the future with your plans, with education, with publishing and marketing, if you have an online business. And on Sunday, November the 3rd, the moon continues in outgoing, optimistic Sagittarius. But Venus, pleasure-seeking Venus, relational Venus, will be in opposition to expansive Jupiter. Now, this can be too much of a good thing. Venus, Jupiter, you can be overly indulgent, spend too much money, eat too much, drink too much, but that could also be ideal if you're attending a party or any kind of entertainment venue. But at the same time, that Venus-Jupiter, which is a very pleasurable, but it could be expensive, could be indulgent. Mars, ambitious, assertive Mars, will be every 2 years, will be opposite compulsive Pluto. That Mars-Pluto can compel one to be very impulsive, very competitive, very driven. But that Venus-Jupiter will soften up the dark side of the Mars-Pluto. But the Mars-Pluto can also be very impulsive and very compulsive, very impulsive with the Venus-Jupiter. And there you go. And then the moon's in Sagittarius. You're feeling upbeat. You're feeling optimistic. And you could then be overindulging. And like what I always like to say with Venus-Jupiter, overindulging with a smile on your face, at least for the moment. I want to thank you for watching. If you like information on how to book an astrology reading or to check out my 2-question offer, visit my website at gardino.co. That's .co. Until next week, be safe and well.